what actually causes the price increase in Singapore. It is not just supply and demand, it is fundamentally a structural change in our system. You can actually see that before year 2000, most of our families start off with a single income. And single income means to say that our father actually goes out there to make a wage, and he's also actually able to afford a house in the era. Then after that, go on to year 2000, the population becomes increasingly educated. More and more individuals goes on to a tertiary education, and dual income becomes common. 2005, couples actually placing both of their CPF together to purchase a house, and that is when a sharp increase in the prices. So structurally, we have moved on from a single income to a dual income. That is when they start to compete for priced homes, and this is because they feel that they are able to afford a higher price, and because they are willing to pay for it, prices goes up. As we move into year 2015, that is when you start to see a saturation of dual income. So it actually took 10 years from 2005 all the way to 2015 until it reaches a peak of 54% to 53%. So during the transition from a single income era to a dual income era, that is when you also see that there are many of cooling measures being set in place. That was to quell the crazy buying that's taking place and a price hike. And they are also trying to take foreign investment out of the system. Despite that, you can see basically it is unstoppable. From 2015 to 2020 is close to a plateau. Why? A lot of people say that it is actually because cooling measures are working. Yes, yet at the same time, it is also a saturation of the structure where dual income itself is no longer exploding. And what happens in 2020, it is when you see a phenomenon happening, and the phenomenon is the triple income. Where is the money coming from? And that is when there is a huge amount of inheritance being passed down from one generation to another, from the boomers generation to Gen X and down to the other generations. That is when you start to see younger persons appearing who are able to afford a condominium, or younger persons who are able to afford a more expensive house. How long does it take to saturate this triple income, rather the great transfer of wealth? I would say it would last you about 10 years, as we've previously seen from a structure of a single income to a double income. What is actually happening, I don't think it affects all demographics within the entire system. There will be trickle-down effects, of course, from individuals who actually right-size their homes, who are able to afford more, who are willing to pay more, and therefore you will see more and more possibly $1 million HDB. Most of all, we will see an increase. The price gap between HDB and a condominium will actually increase more and more, and also the price gap between a condo and a landed will increase more and more. So that is actually what would happen in the next 10 years possibly. If government does an intervention, of course, it could actually speed up the saturation, and that is something to bear in mind even as we invest in 2026.